right, guys, welcome back. BDTR Live. We got Bryant and Grace with us again here tonight. And Grace promises she's actually going to talk this time, so you guys should be excited for that. We got a little bit new setup we're going to try here and see if just kind of make it more interesting. So when they're talking, they'll be full screen here, and when we're talking, we'll be full screen. Once again, guys, remember we still got the Mountain Lion Backpack Club, the link to the Amazon wish list in the description. Keep donating. They haven't told us, they're running out of room yet, so keep doing that. So we'll go ahead and I think they muted themselves now.
Oops, sorry.
Brian needs to scooch a little bit closer. There you go. Little more. That's good.
There we go.
All right, let me see if I can get out of the way there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Abby take over. She wants to ask some of the questions because I always get accused of you don't let her talk.
When in reality, I'm a super caffeinated squirrel 9 times out of 10. The minute this man gets home, my mouth does not stop moving, basically.
True.
The fact I'm as quiet as I am through the podcast, frankly, shocks my immediate friends and family because they're like, oh my God, she can't shut up. It's possible. But with that, let's roll on this. So thank you so much again, Grace and Brian, for joining us again tonight. I'm super excited, Miss Grace, that you're going to be talking more this evening.
I'm glad to be here.
So for those of you who don't know who you are or what this is about, do you mind giving us just your name, what you're running for, and honestly, why? Because I think that's a question that doesn't get asked a lot, especially with, a lot of these positions, people in those positions get shit on for being in those positions. So why would you ever want that job? So I'm going to give you the floor. If you don't mind, introduce yourself, tell us what you're running for, and frankly, why you want to run for this position, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. So my name's Grace. I'm running for Altoona School District. It's my first time ever running, so to make it this far is shocking to me. But I'm running just to be a voice for the parents, the community, and then the taxpayers and students, because I don't feel like there's enough in the school district to have someone, especially as young as I am, to be said voice for them. And then I just want to have more communication in the school district for the community and then the administration board and all of that. So I just said hell with it, and I ran with it, and I made it this far. So we'll see how it goes in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So if I can ask, in your opinion, what is the biggest quote unquote issue that Altoona School District, whether it be middle, high, whatever, what is the biggest issue in your opinion in the area right now? And I don't know 100% what powers are given to someone who's elected into that position. But if you were elected in that position, after naming what you think the biggest problem is, do you have kind of any plan, vision, idea of what you would want to do to kind of correct it? Or even if it's just a platform to start talking about it, what is the biggest issue that you think Altoona area school district is facing right now?
I feel like they're... Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
I feel like they're facing a lot of issues nowadays. There's the issues from bullying. There's issues to building a multi-million-dollar school when we didn't need it. If you're not... I feel like they also, if you're not an athlete, they don't care about you. And that's a big thing. There's definitely budget issues. They're cutting people when they shouldn't. But yeah, there's multiple things going on wrong in that school district. But those would be my 3 main ones.
Okay. So to touch back to the first one you mentioned with the bullying, but then again, I want to, after that, go to the topic of budget in several different areas. But to not throw us off completely. With the bullying, I completely agree that Altoona definitely has a problem. And a lot of schools anymore have a major problem with bullying.
They just
what can we do
push
about
it underneath the rug. I know when I was in high school, I was bullied in high school, and when I would go to the principal, they'd be like, "Oh, well, if you did this better or this, the bullying would stop," instead of like speaking to like me and the other person on like why. Like I just feel like there should be more communication and more consequences on said bullying.
So the
Because
kids
now
need
it's
more
just
of a
like,
voice.
oh, you're so and so and you're on the football team, or just an example like, oh, we'll let that slide because you're the star football player. In reality, I feel like they should be definitely held accountable for no matter what's going on.
If even maybe a little bit harsher, like if you're trying, like, because that's the thing, like if you're playing on a team on any level in high school, like you are required to have good grades, like good standard or whatever. Like, so if you're going outside of the ethics side of it and being a bully, that should be scrutinized even harder because, like, okay, you want to make a career out of this, you're going to be in the public eye, you're going to be representing whatever. Do we really want a bully representing us? Is
Right.
I feel like the message that's being conveyed kind of at the time. So I definitely agree that there's a major issue with bullying and the communication is key and lacking in a lot of school districts, especially Altoona, because we've seen time and time again how many times people and children unfortunately come forward and like, hey, I'm being bullied. This is a problem. And they're like, oh, well, what are you doing wrong? Instead of being like, hey, yeah, I hear you. Something's wrong here. We need to talk about it and figure out exactly what's wrong instead of just blindly believing something.
Mm-hmm.
So to jump forward again to the other thing you brought up with the budget, something I was kind of thinking, and I know that we discussed a little bit before this even. Teachers kind of are in a really tough spot because they are supposed to be empowering and guiding the next generation forward. And I always felt like, in my opinion, teachers weren't getting paid enough. But now we have the topic of substitute teachers that have to go ahead and also have a degree of 4 years in order to get in there just a sub. And a lot of substitutes, it's not that they just want to be a sub. That's kind of from what I understand. I could be wrong. If there's anyone in the comments who knows better than me, please let me know. But from what I understand, you kind of have to dip your feet in as a sub before you can become a teacher to make sure that you're kind of fit for the field. So
Well, that's how it was even when I was in school, from what I can remember.
I think
So
that's how it is.
so like why is there such a huge difference in like how they're treated? Is another thing, because it's almost like they're discouraging people from wanting to become good teachers because they treat these subs almost like crap, like they're not, oh, you're not a teacher yet, you're just, you're just a stand-in, blah 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 blah. How does that make you want to feel motivated, be like, to get through it, to actually want to continue on, to get to actually being a teacher, to inspire, to do good? Instead, it's kind of like, instead we just get these frankly shitheads that are just basically willing to deal with the bullshit long enough because they're assholes too and bullies too and they can get through it.
well,
And
they're
now we
not
have
going
a
to
whole
stay.
mess.
You're not going to retain them. They're going to take the first full-time job they can get. So if there is a good teacher and there's a job open, they're going to leave and go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And someone else just said in the comments, I know we're all over the place, but security should be a top priority, especially with as much shit has been going
Yeah.
on
Oh, I
in the world. Like,
didn't even think about that.
Well, the one thing is Altoona, they do have a school police force, so there's more there than some schools have. Some schools don't have anything.
Juniata Valley, you barely had. I know it took him till well past I graduated before they actually had like a metal detector, and I think that's the only security. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. The last I checked, like JV high school, yeah, it's a metal detector that you.
I don't
walk
know if
through.
Central even has a metal detector.
Frankly, I
So-
remember going to freaking high school, and there would be the redneck country boys that as soon as school let out, they're going back home to the field, and they literally have 2 or
They
3
have the
guns
shotgun
mounted.
in the
Yeah, they got
passenger
it
seat.
mounted up on the back
Yep.
window, and the school's just like, as long as you don't bring it through the door, we don't care. But times
So
have
I did
changed.
get some clarification on the subs. So Altoona, they're actually desperate need of substitute teachers, and you can have any degree, and they need to have a certification to be a teacher on top of a degree.
So do you know what
So
that
basically, you
entails?
have to be a full-blown teacher to be a substitute, which, I mean, it makes sense, but maybe then they
Yeah.
should get paid a little more too. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing the job, even if it's just quote unquote part time, like you're still doing the same job.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
But
you
yeah.
haven't found a school district yet doesn't mean that you're not worthy. Someone said Central has cops. Altoona security has greatly improved over the last couple of years from the outside over.
Well, full
that's-
disclosure, they didn't have cops when I was there, so I didn't make that up.
Yeah, full disclosure. When I was in Altoona compared to the security now, it is a lot better than it is. Because when I went to high school, we didn't have to have the clear backpacks. We didn't walk through the metal detectors. We didn't do anything.
I remember specifically being in senior year, and forgive me, y'all, and I'm not going to name names specifically, but anyone from JV that went to my school during my year is going to know exactly who I'm talking about. But this one particular student didn't show up to like 7th period. So, he was also on the football team, and it was kind of weird. So the coach happened to be the teacher of the class, is like, hey, other football player, call this missing football player who's not here right now. So he calls him. How lax our security was, this dude just literally walked out the side door. Left a wedge in there so if he made it back in time, he could just walk back in again. Because he literally, apparently, excuse everyone who isn't ready for this and the gross topic. Apparently, he thought he had to fart, and it turned out to be not a fart. It was worse. So he's on speakerphone for this entire class, explaining to his friend that he had to run home real quick and replace his shorts to come back.
Wow.
That's how lax JV security was. Literally, if coach didn't notice he wasn't there, he had totally just made it back in, and no one would have even noticed. No one even realistically noticed he was gone up until like the last 10 minutes of
never
class.
noticed.
They would have never noticed. So like security has come a long way in different areas. And it's had to, and I'm glad that we had a minute to like talk about like the good old days when, you could actually kind of do that safely. It wasn't a big deal that the student did that because everyone was like, ha ha ha, over the situation. I'm like, oh my God, he left the side door open. Someone could have snuck it. We got a cornfield over here. We got a cow field over here and a cornfield over here.
Well,
What's the worst thing that's coming through the door? A
They used to do that at Central. They'd prop the one door open and go over to Richie's because there's Richie's Dairies like right across the cornfield there. But all right, back to the issues, guys.
Back to the real world. We can't go too far down the
We're getting off topic.
We are, but we aren't in a way. But that's also kind of the sad thing because when you think about it, like we have people, and I appreciate the comments right now. We have one in there. We didn't need security back in the 80s. I'm talking about, I graduated in 2013.
I graduated in 2011.
Yeah, so we're young. We're not that far behind. It's even kind of, here we're going to go morbid. It's kind of sad to think it hasn't been that long since we went to school and how dramatically it's changed now. That you can't just get away with propping the side door open because you shit your pants and you need to go home and change them and come back. Like, you can't even get away with anything at this point. Everything is just scary. Like, the fact that our 6-year-old in kindergarten is going through multiple drills throughout the year about, active shooter. And she had one the other day for biological toxin released into the air. Yeah, that was the paperwork I got home saying, like, we're going to do this whole drill about, if a biological agent gets released in the air, that's going to poison everyone who breathes it in. What are we going to do at the school to, contain? It's like, what the hell?
It's like the old nuclear drill, just hide under the desk, it'll protect you from the anthrax.
Or like put a book over your head in the hallway.
Yep.
It's like, what the? I remember tornado drills when that's what you did. You went out the hallway, you put your head between your knees. So it's like, what the hell is going on in the world that our 6-year-old in kindergarten is going through these insane drills? Like, it's been such a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm a baby. I know I'm a baby. But that's what scares me, is because I know I'm a baby in this.
Right.
And it's gone from 0 to like 150 real quick. And especially because, as we're discussing, we obviously have a child in school. We are super aware and super paying attention to these different issues, whether it be Altoona, here, there, everywhere, because a lot of them are facing the same issues across the board. It's scary to have a kid in school right now. It's scary to not even have a kid in school right now. Looking at anything to do with the school districts is terrifying.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, again, I wanted to start. It's like, why the hell do you want the job?
It's a thankless job, like
basically.
Like many jobs.
I love kids, so that's why.
Because they're little rays of sunshine, even when they're evil sin.
Yeah. Even when there's little devil horns above the halo.
Listen,
or below the halo.
This next generation scares the hell out of me.
I have a nephew who's in the junior high now, and it's a scary thing.
It really is. And that's why, you know, things need to change. So, again, I guess to ask again to kind of like promote this is your time to shine. The floor is yours. Like, you want to run for a school board. So, tell us why. Like, what things do you want to talk about? Like, is there anything I haven't asked you yet that you kind of want to go off about? The floor is yours at this
I
point.
just honestly, I just think the school district needs a change. There's too many old people in there.
Okay.
Like, just they need to like they had their time. Let them younger kids like let the young adults come in and actually want to help and change the school board and like the school district. Like even if I have kids or not, like I'm still want to make a change in the school district. So
So, if I could ask you then, you want to make a change.
yes.
Say the stars align. I'm not saying that they're not going to align. But, you know, for anyone listening, I'm going to play, you know, complete devil's advocate here. The stars align. You get in there. What is the biggest change that you want your legacy to be? If you could get in there and only accomplish one thing and change one major thing, what would you want to change right now? Like, what's your biggest focus, so to speak, if you were to get in there right now?
I will probably say one of the things would be definitely the special education program because it's trash. I can tell you that firsthand. It is trash because I had special education classes and they don't take nearly as enough time with them as they should.
So they basically just kind of like brush you guys kind of quickly
They're
through
just
it.
like, here's that extra hour of time that you need in between classes to take a quiz or to catch up on homework. Not like I can't say that. I had one teacher who was like my special education teacher. I don't remember his name, but he would stop in to see me every week and just ask me how I was doing. So I would give props to him. I don't remember his name, but we need more teachers like him because he would stop in. If it wasn't every week, it was like every other day and was like, "Hey Grace, how are you this week? How was that test? Like, what can I do to make things better?" So
All it takes is one good teacher, because one good teacher can completely change your outlook on life. In
yeah.
every single step in between. Like for me personally, like my favorite teacher and the one that personally changed most of my perspective, in my opinion, I've already said it multiple times on here, Mr. Musser. And honestly, I can't even just say Mr. Musser. Mr. and Mrs. Musser both worked at the school, and they were both history teachers, and they were both fantastic, wonderful people that left a wonderful mark.
Well, that's
I would
one
say
thing.
I have a teacher that I see every time, and every time he sees me out in public, still calls me by my name by this day. And I'm like, you know, you left a good impression if I can still call you by your name and you still call me by mine.
Exactly.
Right. Is like the special education department understaffed? Because I know a lot of schools they are. Is Altoona one of those? And what would you do to try and bring more teachers? Because I think that's a hard position to fill generally for like all schools, just in general.
To be honest, I don't know that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is it? Yes. According to Bryant, it is very understaffed.
I think it's pretty straight across the board. All schools have trouble staffing those positions.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm catching up with comments and.
I know. I just like looked over and I was like, they are blowing up over there.
All right, so I'm gonna throw another like curveball question just because it popped in my head. So
Do it.
let's go controversial here.
Mm,
In your opinion,
Jill Dean.
love that word.
in your opinion, especially because we've kind of already established that we're a younger crowd, younger and middle crowd, so to speak, here from out of high school. And since we've gone down the nostalgia route about how we remember high school, with what's going on now and what's being taught in high school, in your opinion, what is something that's being covered right now that absolutely shouldn't, and what's something that needs to be reintroduced back into schools? So
There's
what
a
needs removed and then
few-
put back in?
So there's a few things. So I don't think the woke agenda should be taught in school. And then there's another one that I forget the name of.
Can you
We
be
just
more
talked about-
specific than just like the woke agenda? Like, is there a particular?
Like part of that?
I'm gonna pull a moment from Jeffree Star. So during COVID, everybody got boring. So like, there's no other gender than 3 genders. There should only be taught the 3 that we have. There's no other ones. Like, I'm probably going to either lose votes or gain votes by saying this, but I don't care at this point. Like,
Well, that's why I said
There's
this
3
is going to be the
genders in this.
controversial part of the show.
there's 3 genders. There's no they, them. There's no, I want to be a cat, so let me have a litter box in the bathroom. Absolutely not.
Hold on.
Is that a real thing?
I'm sorry.
That sounds like a creepy pasta or something.
No, that's a real thing.
Let me take a moment to like pause this entirely and like look directly at the crowd.
I'm just gonna sip my tea.
Yeah, sip your fucking tea. Y'all giving us anime people fucking anime nerds a fucking whatever hard time? Like, nah, we're not even doing this shit, okay? Okay? Like, what? This is what? I'm sorry, the only thing that our child has ever come home and said is she's like, Mom, I want to be a princess, a pirate, and a ninja. And I'm like, you know what? Do it, kid. Go for it.
Right.
Like, I heard there's someone who wants to be a cat in the school. There's a bird. So like, listen, if you want to be a dog, cat, a bird, you're going to let me treat you like one then. So,
Oh my God.
I'm sorry to whoever's feelings I'm hurting out there, but I don't care. There's 3 genders.
Listen, you need to hurt
in the
everyone's feelings
world.
on that because I'm sorry, being a child is hard enough. I remember being a kid. I remember being a middle schooler. I remember being high school. I remember being all that shit. It's confusing enough figuring out being a person at that time. And now you're throwing in different critters? No. It's hard enough to figure out how to people. Let us figure out how to people first. Can we focus on how to people human? You know, like balance a checkbook, cook something, change a tire.
That needs to be taught in high school too. Like, if I knew how to balance a checkbook in high school, that'd be great. I'd be living life right now.
Shout out to Juniata Valley. We actually had an accounting class. It was the only math class I did really well on because it made sense. It was math.
Oh, math was my terrible subject. I hated math.
Same.
So we got some pushback from the comments. Somebody saying there's only 2 genders. You want to go into that?
I was gonna say
Well, technically,
I
there's
was gonna ask what the
there's
third was
male,
personally.
female, and then hermaphrodite.
Right.
So there's technically 3.
Right.
And hermaphrodite, that makes sense because they've actually hate me all you want,
No,
people, but that's been scientifically
that's a real,
proven.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's not.
That's right. I said it.
Yeah, it's not what
We're
you
in the
think.
I'm in the we're into the controversial part of the show. Let's go. If y'all don't like it, please respectfully bow out. We appreciate you for sticking around as long as you
Mother,
have.
if you're still watching, I apologize.
My mom will probably be watching this tonight and she'll rewatch it tomorrow and I'll get a phone call at some point and she'll be like, what the hell, child?
Well, but I mean, honestly, that's a good point to bring up because if you want to cover all your bases, what she said's
It's 100% true.
scientifically accurate. There are some anomalies out there, so.
Well, even like that's one thing I specifically remember when I joined the Navy. And again, not to name names or like drop any too super detailed information, but my recruiter specifically told me the one time that he had a very interesting recruit because when they got to MEPS and they went through all the different things, they're like, oh, you're a 3rd category. Oh. And they had no problem with that. That person was still able to get enlisted, no problem, go through all that shit. But like, there was a specific set of paperwork for it. And when this poor person had to come back and explain to Chief why it took an hour and a half longer to get through, they're like, hey, you know. All right, I need to read the comments because I see everyone's looking here.
I know. I was like, ooh.
She might not answer that because they can specify as both.
Do you see the one in there
Which one?
from Deborah? The hermaphroditus still has a dominant DNA, which is male or female.
I have read that, but at the same time, they have a whole bunch of hormonal issues because even though one is dominant, the other's still technically fighting for dominance. So it kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like anything when it comes to medical. It's on a case-to-case basis. Everybody handles things differently. For example, here's one that most people know about. Crohn's disease. The major indicator that you have Crohn's is bleeding. My little brother and I are both diagnosed with Crohn's. which is also incredibly uncommon. My brother had bleeding. I have never had bleeding. I am a complete anomaly when it comes to Crohn's. I am diagnosed, 100% proven to have it, but nothing that works for Crohn's patients works for me. So when it comes to certain medical
I was
things,
going to say, I almost made a joke there because, we're being scientifically accurate here. So.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to certain medical things, like, you can't treat everything black and white because there's always the case-to-case basis where you have a complete anomaly. That's like, what the hell are we looking at here?
Yeah, but I think the general theme here is like you can't wake up in the morning and be like, well, I'm going to change my gender today.
Yeah.
And that we should encourage
If
that.
it was that easy.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like, even like all the people pushing back, I encourage you to go onto YouTube because I specifically remember finding a video this one time in one of the many nights that I couldn't sleep when I was a younger person. But I found this video about
That's like every night.
Yeah, that's every
Or,
night.
sleepless in West Virginia.
Basically, that's legit. But this whole video went through this person when they were younger. They were born male, but felt that they were female. And their parents over encouraged that to the point that they went through all the, like, whatever and transition and whatnot. And then when they did and they grew up, they're like, that wasn't actually me. Like, encourage your kids to be curious, if anything, but don't, like, hammer that point home. This person was, like, super advocating against everything that basically is being touched on right now. It's just, and at the same time, like, we're adults and we're struggling to understand this. So why the are we telling children about this? Yeah. The only thing they should be worried about is, how do you write your name? Color between the lines. 2 + 2 = 4. Like, focus on the important
stuff. Pick up
stuff.
your toys when your parents tell you to.
Please. Please.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's one thing that I love, that we can, like, dive into the controversy part of it. Because, again, I don't really know at this point. There's so much I don't understand about all these different topics. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out like most people are at this point. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well,
but I'm an adult.
So Deb brought up a really good point here. What about keeping parents informed and not treating them like domestic terrorists?
Yeah, that would be
Because we
great.
have definitely seen that happen.
Yeah,
not
and we're already
so much locally, but
don't get me onto the fucking local school board down here. I'm already ready to go to war.
yeah.
And you know it. I already have an appointment.
So, like, say you're at a school board meeting and, parents are angry about something. How would you handle that as opposed to just having the police drag them out? Like, would you let them say their piece as long as they're not getting physically violent?
Yes, to an extent. As soon as they would raise their hand or, like, their voice, I'd be like, nope, you're done. Like,
well, but what if
it's all about
it's a
communication.
very emotional topic? Like say maybe a kid was allegedly brought a gun to school or some kind of weapon, and the parents felt they weren't notified soon enough, something like that. I mean, these people, they might be passionate, they might be angry, but they're just concerned about their kids at the end of the day. So I think they, even if things get a little heated, I think it's still important to have that, because, that is your right in this country. I think they need to have that discourse. And honestly, I think when they go up there and say their piece, everybody's going to feel better. And if there are issues that need looked into, then you'd be aware.
We've already seen how it was handled down here, because there was a specific event that happened within the last month down here at our elementary school. And it actually had nothing to do with the elementary school. However, there was a major police presence literally right across from the elementary school that our daughter goes to. There was 12 squad cars. 12. With I don't even know how many cops. I didn't even bother counting from the photos that were posted, because apparently somebody did something they weren't supposed to at a house across the street, and they quickly grabbed that person. But of course, people posted on Facebook and all the parents freaked out. The one time I respected the school down here was, instead of being like, oh, we don't know anything or everything's fine, they're like, yes, there is a major police force across the road. No, we don't know much of what's going on right now. Yes, we recognize everyone's scared. This is what we have done to make sure that we can allay your fears until we know more. That's all you need to do. Just be transparent. If you don't know, tell people you don't know.
I know what, I don't know if it was the beginning of the school year or when it was, But I know there was an issue in the high school, and the parents were notified within, I don't know how long it was, but they were sent a mass text message. But I feel like there should be more communication with things, and it should definitely be more open and a faster response than just an hour later. Like, it should be within like the first 10 minutes of a thing that happens.
Well, if it's not, the
But-
students are going to reach out to the parents, because when we had an incident, 2 weeks after the high school,
Well, that's the thing. The parents are going to find out. So it's how you want to be able to get
Social
ahead
media
of it.
nowadays, like,
Yeah.
Well, we
there's
even saw
that
the
one kid in
screenshots.
school that has their phone and they send out a mass text.
Well, that's what happened down here 2 weeks after the incident across from the middle school that, thank God, had absolutely nothing to do with it. There was an incident allegedly at the high school, and it got hyped out of proportion because a whole bunch of students started texting their parents like, there's an active, I don't want to say it and get demonetized at this point because everything's super weird right now, but like there's an active bang bang right now. There's this going on. There was pictures of police and freaking SWAT outside. And of course, all these students are texting their parents. They're freaking out because the high school never said anything. They literally, to this time, even after the fact, never put anything out about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So all these parents are terrified because their kids are texting them from high school, like mom and or slash dad slash whoever. I'm
Can
really
you guys hear
scared.
me?
We
Yep.
can now.
Can you hear Bryant?
Yep.
Yeah. They can hear you.
He's got to lean a little bit closer if you want
Are
to
you
talk.
going to say something?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
There's a question from Deb there. Yeah. There was a question from Deb there about sexual misconduct with teachers. There's currently a school board elected official that I know exactly what some people are going to ask about, and I'm not going to name names about it, but her husband, who is a principal, was accused of many, many sexual offenses, and yet people still vote for her. It was just all kept under the rug, and that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to answer this because it hinders you as a city, and me running for mayor and Grace running for school board. I think it's completely disgusting that her husband was accused of these, but nothing was done about it. It was just swept under the rug, and he was transferred to another school.
It's because he's big into athletics.
Well, that's the other thing. And like Chris said, already, you guys are basically appealing and trying to get a thankless job because time and time again, people in these positions have continuously shown people to lose faith, lose faith, lose faith, lose faith, lose faith, don't believe, don't believe, don't believe. They're just talking through the side of their mouth, but you guys still want it. And that's why I continuously drive home, like, why do you want it? Because people need to understand that you guys recognize that the positions you're running for, they're not glorious jobs. It's going to be everyone staring at you under a microscope, and any single move you make wrong, they're going to freaking highlight and throw out into everything. But you're still willing to go out there and put yourselves out there to try and do it because you want to make a change. And that's what Altoona needs right now. It's been running on the same exact track with the same stupid hamster, tripping over the damn wheel over and over and over and over again. Kick the damn hamster off. Let's get the freaking armadillo. Take a slow pace. Fix shit.
Since the building the new school has been such a hot topic, is there anything that can be done going forward to kind of damage control how much money? Because I'm sure there's still money going into it. Are you aware of any cuts or anything that could be done to just kind of, maybe not stop the bleeding, but slow it down a little bit? Because sooner or later, everybody's going to get nailed with the taxes because they have to pay
BRB.
for that school,
I do know before the new school was built, they had like the 2 football fields and the tennis court in between. They completely like blocked that tennis court off to where the people can't even use it. Like if they want to use the tennis courts, they have to go to Mansion and pay when they have a whole set behind the school that they can use for free. Like when I was in high school, we were able to use tennis courts, but now they're blocked off because they decided to put a fence around it and lock it. So I feel like if they would reopen that would save money, and it would be more effective for the kids who don't have money to go to Mansion and play.
or
sports
just
and be
anybody
athletic.
that lives on that side of town, because
Yeah.
that's where I live. And honestly, it kind of pissed me off when they got rid of the I forget what they called that, but there was like basically a football field and a track there, and I go down and
Yeah.
run there all the time, and then
Was
it's
it
gone.
the IM field or something like that?
I think I think that's what it was called.
Yeah. And then they got rid of the little walkway from the B building to the library. Now it's a football field.
Yep. No, Abby returned.
Trying to figure out where to
That's
scoot
always
myself that
good.
I'm not in the way.
Welcome back, Abby.
I'm back. I'm alive. Tired as usual, though.
Yeah.
What I miss.
I was just talking about how there used to be that football field / running track down there before they built the new school, and now we don't have that anymore either. So
Yeah.
I think that was a waste. I survived the B building and I'm still kicking. I mean, barely, but I'm still kicking.
well, and here's another thought. So because this kind of blew my mind, because remember they built the new junior high before they did any of this, and I have never been in Roosevelt. I have been in Keith, and I've been in Keith
I
since
was a Roosevelt.
I've been in Keith since it was renovated, so I know that it's still functional because people still live there. It's an apartment building now.
I
So-
say, yeah, isn't it for seniors?
Yeah, I believe it's at least older
I think it's
people.
55 plus community.
Yeah. So, but that's my question is, so
Seniors.
did we build 2 schools that we didn't really need? And, going forward, because obviously at some point, I think it's going to come up some of these elementary schools. They're going to want to build new schools.
I feel like if the if the school is still standing and there's nothing physically or like anything environmentally wrong with it, just update it a little bit. Don't tear it down to build an entire new school. Like, I guarantee you that B building, you could have gutted it a little bit and fixed it. We didn't need to spend $80 million on a school that has the same things the B building did, but maybe 10-15% better, because there's a bridge from the junior high to the high school. Like, I
Right.
think it was a waste of money. If you ask me, it was a waste of time and money and taxpayer dollars. Like, I paid for that with my taxes. Like, I'm sorry that you guys wanted a new school. Maybe you should have done something better with your money.
Real quick to answer, Miss Deb. I would love to see that blanketed across every school, every single where. And again,
I mean, I
There we go.
would agree with her. I feel like that should be more taught in school districts over certain things. Like, I don't think the critical race theory should be taught. I feel like it should be an elective.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Like, you should have an option to, like, if you want to learn about it, great. Have it as an elective. Don't force it down somebody's throat that doesn't want to learn it.
Oh,
But I'm
it's
gonna have
just
to
a
agree
theory.
with Deb at that one.
Right. Kylie said too that the repairs for the B building were pretty. I mean, I could see where the argument was that we just need a new school or whatever, and I guess eventually over time. But it's interesting how they look at this stuff because we had to build a new school, but then I think we should have probably built a new courthouse 20 years ago, but we're still putting money into that dinosaur. So it's weird the way
Hell,
things happen.
Even some of the prisons and jails out here need an update.
Oh yeah, BCP
Not
is
that I know
horrible.
firsthand, but I've heard like it's very bad.
Yep. Yeah, that I think
I'm going to
that
drop this little nugget just for crazy to absolutely go off for a minute, but I've had enough friends in BCP. That's right, I said it. But I've honestly, I've had enough friends, and it was simple
They
shit.
don't separate the actual juveniles in the prison,
Exactly.
and that's the problem.
They don't separate the juveniles. They don't even separate the women. They don't separate the new intakes. I specifically, without name dropping, I had a female friend years ago on complete bullshit. I read through the charges because I was like, how the hell you, of all people, are getting charged with this? She was 5 months pregnant and they threw her onto E block with no shoes, a pair of sweatpants, and a tank top. Would not let her go pee, would not give her any food, with all these vultures outside saying what they would because they haven't seen a female for a hot minute. And she wasn't even guilty of anything, but they scared this poor pregnant girl so bad that she desperately just wanted to get out that bad that she was willing to say anything for them to let her out of there, because she was genuinely scared that if she stayed, that something really bad was going to happen.
Oh, wow.
That is completely screwed up, in my opinion. And outside of her situation, I had a couple friends in there over speeding tickets and dumb shit, but like they were even like, yeah, I deserve to be here, but like, yo, what's up with the fact that, you know, it's winter time and it's fucking cold as shit in here right now because, you know, there ain't no kind of insulation. The windows are leaking. Like, it's cold. Like, I get it. I did wrong. I should be punished. But like, this is inhumane, man. Like, I ain't eating
Apparently,
right.
they
I'm
don't
cold.
separate the killers either from Gen Pop, is
No.
what Kylie just said.
No, they don't separate anybody. It literally takes down to like word gets around through the prison, from what I understand from different people I've known in BCP. Again, go crazy with that. They don't. And there's times where it kind of makes sense because you want certain people to be out in population to like get the justice that they deserve. But 9 times out of 10, they're putting people in the fucking like general population that haven't gone through process, literally shouldn't even be there, and already have the stigma over their head, and like they're just this common everyday Joe, and now they're in with these hardcore, you know, 5 whatever plus people that are just like, they got a whole different system in there.
Now, Terry said it was either do the building project or renovate existing and build an elementary. What was done was more cost effective and provided a much better facility. Well, and back to the elementary school stuff. I mean, they shut down, what was it, W&J, and I think there was another one. And then
There was one more. WJ.
was it right?
Yes.
I think it was right. But
I think there was right.
they shut them down, and then everybody was complaining that the class sizes were too big. So it was like counterproductive, I guess.
What's their definition?
Yeah, what was
definition?
what was the point of it?
How big is too big of a class size in their opinion?
I think it went from like 20-some students to like closer to 30. Just
Well, that's
rough,
what I'm curious of.
rough
Because like I went to
estimate
a
off the top
tiny
of my
ass
head.
school, so like
comment on Terry's comment here.
the comments are just going off. I can't even keep up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to ignore y'all, but like I low key am right now.
And here's where I have the most problem. I understand that it might have been cost efficient, but the overall high school dynamic cost your taxpayers $88 million. And when it was all said and done, it was over $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
People are broke. What more do you think we can do to make them more broke? Where are they going to pull the money out of their ass?
Apparently, that's what they expect. On
Well,
that note, though, hold on.
That is a good argument, but at the
I wanna
same
look-
time, my biggest problem with it is, so we're building this new school while the population keeps going less and less and less. People are having less and less kids. So what, 20 years from now, how many kids are really going to be going to that school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days, if I ever have kids, I'm like, maybe I should homeschool them.
Listen, I already told him, and I've already discussed. I am 100% going to homeschool our daughter after a certain point, because I firmly feel that she needs to kind of explore the system in her own way. She needs to go through it. She needs to make friends. She needs to figure out peopling, because and that's the other thing. Kids are kids, but at the same time, they're mini humans. They're not really that different than adults in a way. They're exploring and figuring out the world much like we usually are at the time that we're parents. Everything's new to them in a way. Certain things are new to us. They have a different perspective. I want her to go through an experience and have that experience
Kylie
and make
said
her own
that,
decisions.
yeah, if we build it, they will come didn't work. Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're not, how are you going to bring anything? You're not going to bring new families into the community unless you're bringing in new jobs. I mean, the whole reason Altoona is
anything.
here is because of the railroad. And the railroad is like a dead horse that's been kicked many times.
They're done.
You know,
Really
it's just,
surviving.
That's what you have to say.
What?
You need more manufacturing jobs.
Oh yeah, we definitely need more manufacturing jobs.
well, but that's the question, is how do we bring them in? And even look at
I
how,
miss Josie.
you know, the current admin has run. I
You
guess
hire the immigrants.
this is
Is my phone lagging that hard? I feel like I'm missing a lot of these freaking comments right now.
It's lagging a little bit.
I
But,
just made Bry walk off laughing.
well, hey, it's not, as long as they're legal, if we're gonna.
I mean, exactly. Like they're here for a reason.
I mean, if you look back,
I
really,
need
who built the railroad? The
Thank you.
the Irish immigrants, the Italians, the Chinese. That's who built the railroad.
I need a drink after this beer.
We're,
You
there's
think
gonna
I'm
be
kidding? Frankly, at this point, fuck you, crazy. Again, Miss Grace, not at you, but like,
there's-
fuck you, crazy. If you're listening,
oh, she is. She's our biggest
100%.
fan.
She's always our top viewer on everything, which
She
is why
she probably sits in like her old ugly bubble bath and like recites the podcast verbatim.
With like her 12 cats sitting next to
Yeah.
her.
Well, she has dogs and they like to bite, from what I've been told. So
Ooh.
good times. But so back to the school board stuff here. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are having problems with the chat. Good. Now, one good just side note here, guys. I ordered some Cat 5 cable, so I'm actually gonna be able to plug the laptop in. I think that'll help out a lot with the stream. I'm honestly surprised that we haven't had any issues yet, because I know last time the problem with the Wi-Fi is it's just constantly it's not consistent. It's constantly bouncing up and down with
yeah.
bandwidth. So hopefully once we get it plugged in, it'll be a lot better. But like, is the video, from what I can see, is done pretty good. But I guess everybody's having issues,
The comments, I think, are lagging.
which that could just be Facebook too. It's hard to tell if that's on our end or
You
if
gotta
it's,
love Facebook.
yeah. So, because honestly, probably at some point we're just gonna go full Rumble stream, because we haven't had any issues over there. So Caleb says he keeps getting kicked. Yeah, but Abby has returned.
Abby has returned, and Abby's apparently stuck underneath the wires and trying not to destroy them. Honestly, I think it's a little bit of the internet and a little bit of Facebook, because when I got a hold of the internet provider that we had the other day, we pay for a 200 megabyte internet service, and we were getting like 30,
Yeah.
barely.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
even through like chat, the guy was like, "Ooh, yeah, that's not right." And he did a diagnostic test, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a problem with your modem. So I'm gonna do a soft reset, BRB." So he did that. Test it again. No change. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do a hard reset, and that's gonna kick off all your other routers. Are you sure you want me to do it? But I think it'll work." Long story short, it worked. And I think that might be a little bit of the problem tonight too, because that was literally yesterday.
Well,
And we
I'm
have
gonna make
reset other things as well. So
Grace is gonna disappear here for a second,
sorry, guys.
but just a second, and I'm gonna check and see what the
Internet
the
speed's running.
stats look like on the page here.
I was gonna say, most people are saying,
It doesn't look like we've had anything drop yet, so that's good. So yeah, sorry guys. Like I said, we're trying to keep everything looking.
and we apologize again if we don't answer
Looking
you
good.
during the live. It's not us trying to ignore you. It's either it came in late or, 1,000 other issues. Be happy I figured out how to like stuff on this phone. It took me a whole week, okay?
Right.
I'm still scared to pick this phone up because I'm like, oh my God, it's super tiny and delicate. And oh my God, I broke my other phone already. I can hack into that one, by the way, still. I'm just happy, like you said last week, I was able to figure out how to get it to actually respond. So it's working.
So is there, because we're getting close to like the hour mark, is there anything we haven't covered that you wanted to cover, or do you have like a final thoughts? Or
Not that I know, because I threw in that critical race theory earlier too, and you said something about it.
what did I say about that? I said, well, it's just a theory, so
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know that critical race theory came from the original critical theory, which was a Marxist ideology. People with buzzwords, whatever, but it was basically the original critical theory was if you're born poor, you'll always be poor. So what they did was they took the basically class warfare and turned it into race warfare. That's essentially what critical race theory is. Because everybody's always like, "Oh, explain it," and then I explain it, and then they still argue with me. So it's like, all right, whatever, Tim Baker.
On the note of other people that you're just, absolute trash, do we have a Ouija board in the room for Ted Simpson to use?
Oh yeah.
I want to play with a Ouija board.
I'm about to absolutely wreck myself and make another Ouija board right now. So between us, I used to work with 2-part epoxy resin, and I currently have a Ouija board mold.
What do you mean between us? We're fucking live.
I know.
Like there's probably
Between us and everyone.
there's probably people in
Yeah,
like
19
Turkey
viewers.
watching this.
I know, but between all of us and those who have seen me before and those who know me, I ran off of War Perception resin at the convention Sci-Fi Con for 2 years. And I have a blank Ouija board mold that I could totally risk making another one. And I have a ton of planchettes because I absolutely love the Ouija board. I won't play with it, but I will totally make them.
Well, here's
Let's play with it on Halloween.
Terry made a good point here. We need board members with the balls to push back on the woke stuff and the state and federal mandates, which, yeah, I mean, I don't think the federal government should be telling the states to do anything, but,
The fact that the woke stuff is even in schools right now absolutely just appalls me because...
Oh, it's everywhere.
And that's the thing that bothers me because it is everywhere. It is everywhere. We have friends in
People got
Pennsylvania,
bored.
Texas.
Yeah, they got bored and they had to come up with,
Especially during COVID, they got bored and made random shit like, "Oh, we're gonna go by they them," or "I'm gonna be a cat." Like, what the fuck, man? Are you that fucking lunatic up there? Like, you need medication.
I'm sorry. This is one of the first times I've ever heard about, like, I've heard of, like, because, I'm an anime fan. I'm a weeb. I'm a nerd. I've heard of furries, okay? I've heard of furries. I am aware that they exist. I respectfully
reason, I'm
respect
on
that
that
that's
side
their
of
thing, and I
TikTok.
don't do that.
And it's weird.
It
creeps
really,
me out
it
that I'm on
is,
that
but
side of
now,
TikTok.
now hearing, though, that that's a thing in, like, schools, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I've literally brought our daughter from the time she was born until now to conventions, and she's never been like, "Hey, Mom, now I'm a cat." She's more like, "Mom, I am the king of pirates. Mom, I am the king of this or that or whatever." Like, she's just like, "Nah, I'm just basically a badass, whatever, this, that, and the other thing." Like kids do.
Well, real quick, shout out to Caleb there. No, we don't actually have Comcast. We have Optum. It's even worse.
Optum is so much
If you
worse.
can believe it.
So much worse. The only thing I do like about Optum compared to Comcast, though, is like Optum actually does have pretty decent customer service because I got a hold of somebody pretty quickly the other day. Oh, we're getting a call?
Oh, boy.
Oh, sheesh.
Oh god.
Here we go.
Is it going to answer? Why isn't it? There we go. BDTR Live, what's on your mind?
Hi, this is Rhonda Holland. Are you guys still live with the podcast that I'm driving? I don't know if you're on or not.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you're here with me, Abby, GraceAnn, and Bryant.
Excellent. I just want to say hi to GraceAnn and Brian and tell them thank you for running. It's obviously, I think they found out that running for office isn't an easy piece of cake that some people think it is. And my hat's off to them both for running.
Right.
And I want to wish them good luck.
Thank you.
Last week, you guys had a section where Deb Weston called in about the situation with the anti-Judge Doyle campaign, and I am the chair for the PAC against her. And I don't want to get into it tonight with, you have the other candidates there and other people should be able to call in on that.
Right.
But I'd be more than happy to explain why we came out against her and the situation that's going on. So maybe next week I can call in and talk about that.
Yeah, or we'll be on Saturday night at 8 if you're free.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work for you, just feel free to get a hold of either the Altoona page or the podcast page, and we can talk more through message and figure out what time works best for you, and we can go ahead and line that up.
Yeah, if we have to, we can always do offline and upload the video, whatever. So.
Okay, that'd be great. I said I actually was at a meeting at 7:30, and I was trying to watch it, because you caption it on the Facebook page, but
Right.
I have to be at work at 10, so I have to run the whole way back to Tyrone. So I just wanted to call in and say thank you to the candidates for running, because win or lose,
Rhonda,
it takes
before
a
you
lot
go,
of
I
courage
just want to say
put
I
yourself
support
out
you.
there, and I respect that.
Miss Rhonda, did you hear what she said? Miss Grace said?
No, I did not.
I said, before you leave, I want to tell you I support you.
Did we lose her?
We probably lost. If she's heading back to Tyrone, depending what road she's on,
She's probably on the highway. She probably lost service.
either 99 or
Yeah, it kicked
four,
it off.
yeah,
so.
453 maybe. I'm thinking maybe more.
I'll shoot her a message, or if she's
Well,
on next week. I'll hop
I know you
on.
can't hear me, Rhonda, but if you get back and watch this, thanks for calling in, and we'll look forward to having a conversation with you Saturday or whenever you're able.
And please be safe getting to your destination. We appreciate you taking a moment to call in, especially while driving. But please be
Well,
safe.
that's how I call in radio shows most of the time too. That's what pisses me off. Like I'll get put on hold, and then I lose the signal, so I lose my place in line.
Yeah.
Because if anybody knows, if you've called me while I'm working, like you get like maybe 3 minutes of conversation before the call drops because I lose signal. So, but you know, I try.
I'm sorry, guys.
Deb
My phone
got
is
an
super
honorable
laggy.
mention.
My phone is super laggy with the comments. They're coming in, and I'm able to respond to them a little bit better tonight on this phone, but they're still coming in laggy on this one. I'm still trying to break into my iPhone at this point. I need that damn thing to work.
So is it, Bryant, was there anything
That you wanted
you
to
wanted
add?
to go over specifically?
Do you want to add anything or go over anything?
No, not really. I think Grace did a fair job. Obviously I am not, running for school board, but I support Grace to a full extent. The woke agenda, I think it does need to stay away from schools, because if you're under 18, it is the parents'
Do you wanna say
decision.
something?
It should always be the parents' decision, and the administration has to understand that it will always be them that decides what's best for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Critical race theory, I would support that as an elective if they wanted to do that.
It should be
You're
discussion
also
between everybody.
challenged.
And also, we were challenged on a video to eat the Altoona
Not me,
pizza.
Bryant.
There's no we.
There's no we. It's just Bryant.
Okay, well,
Oh.
I'll
Wow.
eat
That's
it.
rough.
Welcome,
That's rough.
Tyler.
Candidate.
He
here for
he
mayor
just
of
endorsed
Altoona.
you, and you're like, eat this disgusting pizza now.
The Altoona pizza. So
Let everybody, if
Yeah.
nothing else you take away from this, let us all
I am
take a moment of
serving
silence.
this,
Have a moment of silence.
They were the only place in town that had it available today.
Listen, it's not bad at all.
It smells delicious. God, you hungry, you fat fuck?
I mean, I've eaten tuna right out of a can, so I don't think I'm allowed to have an opinion on what's
No,
good
you're
and what's not.
Listen, it's good.
How's that taste? buddy?
Listen, it's good.
Yeah?
We'll make
You're-
sure we clip.
You're
this
losing
part
votes, man.
so that I can taste that for him.
If nothing
And no,
else.
I am not eating it.
I'm not
Because
eating
if
it.
I were running for mayor, I'd ban the pizza.
Listen, I would not ban the pizza because Altoona
I would ban the
Hotel
pizza.
did great.
Right.
No, I would ban the pizza. That looks nasty.
So, for those of us who, in the podcast who don't know what's on Altoona pizza, Brian, could you explain what is a slice of Altoona pizza? So
It's
we can all
American
understand what
cheese.
you're going through.
Oh, here. American cheese, peppers, salami, and then I think there's onions in there.
So actually, it is based differently on who makes it.
Isn't it supposed to have like a green pepper on it or something?
Run.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Grace, run.
So 29,
Respect. Run.
yes, and 29th Street actually does like a melted cheese,
Mm-hmm.
where OIP does a different type of cheese.
Oh, you know what?
So
That's
both
not bad.
both places make it different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to buy
It's got
quite
some flavor to it.
I used to buy quite a bit from 29th Street. That's a great restaurant. Well, I guess it's kind of like a corner store, but their food's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I give you guys mad respect for getting through that because I'm sorry. The only thing that I can get away with that's sacrilege on pizza at this point would be pineapple. And I know that for a fact because my grandma was 100% Sicilian and she even admitted that pineapple on pizza was okay. So I can eat that with confidence, but I am terrified to eat Altoona pizza because I feel like she would rise from the grave with the full wrath of every Sicilian in the past and beat the shit out of me.
Pineapple on pizza is amazing.
No, it's not. It's
Listen,
disgusting.
I personally love it. I personally love pineapple, but you cannot only have pineapple. You have to have pineapple, extra cheese, at
I feel like if you
least
threw bacon in there, that might be better.
Yes, bacon's good. And honestly, if you get like actual ham or actual chicken, not like the fake like salami shit, like the little, lunch meat shit, like get some
real
leftover
good
actual
one.
ham that you
Yeah.
made or, some actual turkey that you cooked or some actual ham that you made. Like tear that shit up, put it on there with a little bit of, pineapple. And
Right.
honestly, here's another thing that I realized with pineapple on pizza. It adds just a bit of moisture enough that it keeps it from drying out if you have to cook it at a higher temperature for longer. That's right, I said it. We have made enough goddamn pizza in this house.
Was there supposed to be a moisture joke there? Or?
No.
Okay.
But you can make one if you want.
I'm too tired for that shit.
I think everyone is at this point.
Yeah, so
We're able to have pineapple on pizza.
yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up here, guys. Anybody want to add anything to close here?
Just thanks for taking time out of your night to come listen to me talk and stir the pot.
Well, that's what we love to do.
Always-
I stirred that shit all up.
Always
and
need a
I'm
good
so
pot
glad.
stirring.
Listen,
I
anytime
love
y'all
stirring
want to,
the pot.
come stir the pot, and honestly, I kind of hope in
I'm
the
always
future
down.
that we can get a podcast lined up to absolutely just shock everybody and one big ass
I'm
party
down.
and bonfire. So
Let's do it.
I'm
Alright.
game.
All right, guys. So I guess that's all we got for you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Rhonda, for calling in.
So hold on before we go.
Oh, hold up.
Hold on. Wait, hold on.
Is someone dying there?
Sounds like a
So we were
velociraptor.
going to wait to do this. But
Are
me
you-
and Grace have decided next year
Surprise.
we are running for state representative next year.
Oh shit! All right, that's a bombshell at the end here.
We are going to wait till the night of the election, but surprise everybody.
Yes, we are both running on the Republican side.
I'm coming from you bitches.
Oh, the
God
Murray's
help
in the
us all.
party. Everybody's hype right now in the comment
Oh.
section. Sorry, I can't even answer. It's going off too much.
Yeah, that's. Oh, Jesus.
Show is coming soon.
And on that note, let's end on a positive note.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's all we got for you tonight. Because I know if we keep going, we're just gonna
Thank you.
we're gonna break the internet.
Basically,
Let's do it. Our next podcast, we have to.
Right.
get a hold of me after this one though. Until next time.
All right. Till next time.
Bye, guys.